one man must choose between having dinner and being dinner.
Interesting facts about famous people.
Great cult westerns. Terms like cult film and later cult classic are used to describe a movie that has developed a small but significant and dedicated fan base that grows over time, while hugely successful blockbuster franchises like Star Wars and Marvel movies have such enthusiastic fans that the movies seem to have cult-like influence. The term cult film specifically refers to movies that, despite being much less successful financially, nonetheless have a passionate fan base. There are movies that underperform at the box office all the time, that still manages to win over a few fans. Some movies inspire such deep devotion that they develop a dedicated following. The cults devoted to these films grow as those dedicated fans spread the word about this lesser known, but in their mind, a must-see film. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. Head over to my channel if you want to check out my many other videos. The link is in the description. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel as well. I really do appreciate it. Let's get into it. Dead Man, 1995. Jim Jarmusch's Western is seen by some as the culmination of the acid Western tradition started by El Topo. It's populated with a great cast of actors in small parts that tells a sporadic story, but the story is mostly told out of the odd couple pairing of Gary Ford's Native American named Nobody and Johnny Depp's City Boy thrown into the life of an outlaw, shot in black and white and eerily scored by folk rock legend Neil Young. Dead Man is a trip, quite clearly inspired some great cult westerns in the following decades. Final theatrical movie of Robert Mitchum, John Dickinson.
With special appearance by Robert Mitchum.
Ravenous, 1999. Antonia Bird found herself sitting in the director's chair after issues with producers resulted in the planned director's abrupt replacement with studio stalwart Raja Gosnell, who the cast rejected in her favour. Bird claimed that this all-too-familiar process of Hollywood's backstabbing informed her understanding of Ted Griffin's screenplay about cannibalism in the Sierra Nevada. Despite Bird feeling locked out by producers in the end herself, Ravenous became as weird as any big studio movie ever can. The film takes place in 1847 during the Mexican-American War. After hiding out in the woods from Wendigo, Boyd hikes back to camp. The music that is playing is a church hymn called Jesus is Coming Soon. It is 25 minutes into the film before Captain Boyd, who is in virtually every scene, utters his first full sentence.
Listen to the party, 6, right?
Why?
Who's this? Lions. Oh, Jesus. It's a trap!
Blazing Saddles, 1974. Mel Brooks' beloved comedy is arguably his best work and a perfect example of a more crowd-pleasing but no less biting version of a satire on American history's depiction in the media. The addition of traditional screwball comedy to Brooks' takedown of institutionalized racism made it much more palatable and marketable to a wide audience. Given how iconic Cleveland Little and Gene Wilder have become in their lead roles as Sheriff Bart and the Waco Kid, it's strange to think that neither actor was Brooks's first choice, with original Waco Kid, Gig Young, collapsing on the first day of shooting, and studio executives refusing to insure the movie's co-writer, Richard Pryor, for the role of Bart. Its very existence still feels a little miraculous to this day. Ride the High Country, 1962. Sam Peckinpah was a roguish force, and his own works in the Western genre are considered facilitators of many of the films on this list. So subversive and explosive was his image that it ended up being Ride the High Country his most normal-looking western that ended standing out to movie buffs as his cult classic. Ride the High Country contains no less of Peckinpah's fascination with lust, greed and violence. They just appear more subtly alongside themes that would become hallmarks of Peckinpah's more well-known films, such as Moral Compromise, The Death of the West and Masculine Honor. Final film of Randolph Scott, saying he wanted to quit while he was ahead, and that he would never be able to better his work here. Johnny Guitar, 1954. Nicholas Ray's Western may be the most widely beloved film among filmmakers themselves throughout the latter half of the 20th century. It found acclaim among the budding French New Wave directors, initially panned by critics on its release in America. Martin Scorsese would later assess Johnny Guitar as an example of a minor film grown to achieve the status of a classic, adding that, in the US, people didn't know what to make of it. Ray's first film in colour, his vivid use of it, which will be familiar to fans of his most famous film from the following year, Rebel Without a Cause, made it an indelibly striking experience. It's an experience that could be called timeless.
Play the guitar, play it again.
Quigley Down Under, 1990. Hired from the US by an Australian rancher to shoot Aborigines at a distance. Quigley takes exception to this and refuses. The rancher orders him killed for refusing. Quigley gets away into the bush with a woman he rescues from the rancher's men. Helped by Aborigines, Quigley returns the favour, then goes on to destroy his enemy. Produced by the then newly formed Path Group under the control of Alan Ladd Jr., whose passion for the project assisted the picture to get financed and greenlit. One of a number of early career movie roles where English actor Alan Rickman portrayed a villain after his breakthrough role as one in Die Hard, 1988.
Much obliged.
Shane, 1953. Riding into a conflict between cattleman Riker and settlers, like Joe Starrett and his family, whose land Riker wants. Shane beats up Riker's man, Chris. Riker tries to pay him off. Shane and Joe take on the whole of Riker's crew. Riker sends to Cheyenne for evil gunslinger, Wilson. Shane must clear out all the guns from the valley. Van Heflin and Alan Ladd became firm friends during the making of the film. In later years, Heflin's wife said one of the very rare times she ever saw her husband cry was when he learned of Ladd's premature death. A Man Called Horse, 1970. In 1825, an English aristocrat was captured by Native Americans. He lives with them and begins to understand their way of life. Eventually, he is accepted as part of the tribe and aspires to become their leader. For his painful vow to the sun initiation ceremony scene, Richard Harris wore a prosthetic chest, created by makeup artist John Chambers. The story is based on the experience of Cabeza de Vaca, a Spanish soldier captured by indigenous Americans in 1528. Many actors, including Robert Redford, turned down the lead role before Richard Harris accepted. One of three notable westerns made from the stories of Dorothy M. Johnson, the others being The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962, and The Hanging Tree, 1959. Unforgiven, 1992. After escaping death, disfigured prostitute Delilah Fitzgerald, with her furious co-workers, summon up the courage to seek revenge in 1880's Wyoming town of Big Whiskey, with a hefty bounty on the attackers' heads, caused by the tough sheriff, Little Bill Dackett's lack of justice. The infamous former outlaw and now poor Kansas pig farmer, William Money, embarks on the last mission to find the men behind the violent crime, along with his old, long-time partner, Ned Logan, and brash, inexperienced young gunman, the Schofield Kid. Money returns to the dangerous world he has renounced years ago, knowingly walking into a trap. He still needs to find a way to raise his motherless children. Now, blood demands blood, Who is the hero and who is the villain? The Wild Bunch, 1969. 1913. The traditional American West is dying. A gang known as the Wild Bunch, after a failed robbery, they head to Mexico to do one last job. Their times and lives are fading away at the end of the 20th century, taking a job that ends up in a violent last stand against their corrupt enemies in a small Mexican town ruled by a cruel general. Robert Ryan's constant complaints about not receiving top billing so annoyed director Sam Peckinpah that he decided to punish Ryan in the opening credits. After freezing the screen on close-ups of William Holden's and Ernest Borgnine's faces while listing them, Peckinpah froze the scene of several horses' rear ends when Ryan was listed.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Well, the contract, all right. How about me?
I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
That's right.
Interesting facts about famous people.